Hello, my darlings, and welcome to episode 7 of the Uncomplicated Perimenopause Podcast. I'm Kate Grosvenor. I'm a perimenopause expert and life coach.
And I'm Gabriella Grosvenor, Kate's daughter, here to learn with you all.
So, as always, my lovelies, I have no clue what today's episode is going to be about because you, the listeners, get to send in your questions and Gabby gets to surprise me with the questions. So, Gabriella, what are we talking about today, my darling?
This question's from Monica.
Hello, Monica.
Monica has watched your TikToks and you...
Oh, cool. Thank you.
And you've mentioned some weird symptoms.
Oh, yes.
She's wondering, out of curiosity, what are the weirdest symptoms you've ever heard of?
Oh, funsies. Shits and giggles today. What are the weirdest ones ever?
I think so, yeah.
How many would you like?
Well, you've written 117 in your symptoms checklist, so what's the weirder ones from there?
What's the weirdest ones? Oh, this is going to be fun. Right. I'm going to enjoy this one. Okay.
I did like that question when she sent it.
Yeah. That's fun. Thanks, Monica. Right. Weird symptoms. The weirdest ones. Okay. Weird symptoms. Ooh, where do I start? Okay. So some weird ones are like shits and giggles funny.
Okay.
Like funsies. And some are weird, quite scary.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to mix them up.
Okay.
I'll start with a fun one.
Yeah.
Okay, so weird symptom number 1, phantom smells.
What's phantom smells?
Here to explain it. Phantom smells are when I'm the only one that can smell things in the house. So, did a TikTok on this literally a couple of weeks ago. Phantom smells, so I can go around going, can anyone smell that? Can anyone smell? And it can be things like toasted marshmallows. Or the other day, I swear I could smell lemon. No one else could smell it. And I was going around going...
I was going to say, not to gaslight you, but are these smells real? Or are you just smelling them?
No, you're not gaslighting me. That's the thing, phantom smells.
Okay.
So I can smell things that no one else can smell.
But they are real?
But they're real to me.
Okay.
They're not real to anybody else.
Okay.
They're a figment of my imagination. Okay. My imagination. Da-da-dum. Sorry.
What song is that?
It's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the new one.
Oh, Wonka.
Wonka.
I've not watched it.
Oh, God.
Sorry. It's Johnny Depp.
It's not Johnny Depp.
And exactly. That's the problem. Johnny Depp is Willy Wonka, not Timothy Chalamet, whatever his name is.
You know exactly what his name is.
Shalamon. Shal something.
Make him sound like a weird vegetable. Anywho, what's that vegetable?
Looks a bit like one.
Oh, dear
If you're
Lord.
listening, Timothy, I do apologise.
Do you know what? Doubt is listening to a perimenopause podcast by 2 English women. I mean, not our demographic. We do have a few people that listen from France. Don't think he's going to be one of them. Do you have a few people that listen from America? Again, not our demographic.
No.
Right, moving on, shall we? Because that went downhill very, very, very quickly. Help. So, phantom smells. So, for example, I had one client that used to smell gasoline all the time, bless her heart. I had one client that panicked in like late afternoon once saying, I can smell burnt toast, am I having a stroke? Because that's a symptom of having a stroke. And I said, can you smell anything else? And she said, yes, I can also smell something like chocolate something. I said, then probably not. Symptom of thing, it's probably the phantom.
So 1 second, she messaged you?
Yes.
Not
the people in the house.
Or the people, medical professionals.
No. Because
I might be having a heart attack.
No, because people message me first because they're like, is this... Because I'm the go-to expert.
Yeah.
So they go, is this a symptom? Because she is my life coaching client. So to put this into perspective, she's a one-to-one VIP life coaching client, so they have access to me.
Okay.
So she thought she would just double-check before she bothered the medical professionals and called an ambulance.
Yeah, okay.
So that was fine. Yeah, so completely normal. Very weird, but it is quite entertaining, that one.
Yeah.
Because you can smell weird stuff. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I have to kind of second guess myself, as in, what is the likelihood that this is actually a smell that could be in our house?
Yeah.
So, to put this into perspective, we have 6 cats.
Yeah.
Don't ask. They're very cute cats. We have lovely cats on the whole. We have 1 or 2 that I'm like, don't know how they got there. Anyway, but on the whole, we have lovely, lovely, lovely cats, don't we? Really lovely cats. And we have 3 horses. So some of the smells are slightly country smells that you would kind of expect.
And 3 children as well.
And 3 children and lots of garden smells. So we have big gardens. So those kind of smells are very predictable.
Yeah.
Lots of cooking happens in our house. We cook a lot of food. Lots of people are always cooking different foods. So those kind of smells. But then there's some others you think, could this possibly be a smell that would be happening in our house? Very few boys in our house.
Yeah.
It's only my partner that so if it's a boy type of a smell, it's not likely to be emanating from the house.
No. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So phantom smells. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're smelling things and no one else can smell it, you're not going mad, and they're not trying to gaslight you. They're not trying to be mean.
It feels like your body's trying to gaslight yourself in that.
Yes, but that's very normal. So phantom smells.
It's just a bit of fun.
That one's a bit of banter. It's harmless. Just laugh it off. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so that's that one. What isn't harmless and is not a nice one is the next one.
Oh, so we're doing one of each.
We're good. Well, I'll try and mix it up a little bit.
You're so crazy,
right? DJ Kate, no. So one that's not fun is the next one, and that's when you forget how to swallow.
Yes, you made a TikTok on that one. I made a TikTok
on it. It kind of did like
something stupid.
I think in the first week it did something like 700,000 views.
Yeah.
And this is because nobody talks about it because nobody made the connection. But then it was one of those things where I'd made the connection for myself. And then I kind of talked to a few women in my group about it, in the perimenopause group. And I said, this is something I've noticed. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed it as well? And they went, oh my God, yes. I thought it was just me. And then I asked my wider audience. And then I was like, listen, a load of women are thinking about this. I think I've made the connection, and then it went out. And I was the only one, as far as I know, that has made the connection in perimenopause. Yeah. But it's very, very, very scary. Mm-hmm. So if this has happened to you, please don't be scared. But it is a really weird one. So this is when you forget to swallow, or you think you've forgotten how to swallow and you panic. Yeah. What it is, it's called, well, there's different aspects to it. It's kind of globus, because what happens is that you get a lump in your throat that's not actually a lump. It's kind of psychosomatic. So you feel like you've got a lump in your throat, or you feel like you've forgotten how to swallow. Okay. When we're in perimenopause, and our estrogen, obviously, as we talk about in every single episode, our estrogen fluctuates up and down as we go through perimenopause. What can happen is we can get, several things can happen in our mouth at once. We dramatically reduce the saliva in our mouth during perimenopause, which can lead to dry mouth, which can lead to burning mouth, which is incredibly uncomfortable. But it can also lead to a change in the structure of our mouth. Okay. Musicians call this our embouchure, but for everybody else, it's just like the muscle structure of your mouth. You can also have orthodontic kind of problems. So your jaw can move around. You can get bleeding gums. You can get teeth ache. You can get jaw ache. All those kind of things can happen in perimenopause as well. So you get reduced saliva. You can have changes in the structure of your mouth. You can get changes in the muscles in your mouth, and you can get this kind of lump in your throat. Plus, you can kind of get swollen type of glands, and all of these kind of mix together. And what happens is you can just suddenly kind of sit up and forget how to swallow your own saliva.
Is there anything you can do to prevent or to help this? Is it staying more hydrated?
Yeah, so absolutely. So being hydrated really helps, because you're going to make sure you've got that natural saliva. Yeah. Remembering that you know how to swallow. And I know that sounds, cheers, Kate. That's why you get paid the big bucks. But but just reminding yourself it's okay. So just remembering that I've had this conversation with you. Yeah. Like, literally, Kate told me that. So saying to yourself, like, since I put 2 and 2 together, I've not panicked, because me too. Yeah. Like, I used to panic, like, genuinely, look me in the eyes, I used to panic as well. Yeah. Because I was like, oh my God, and then you remember how to swallow and you feel okay. But when you can't swallow, you think you're going to suffocate.
Do you get that with food as well, swallowing food?
Yeah, so some women... So since I've talked about this, I mean, we had thousands of comments on that TikTok. And a lot of women have said, I've struggled to take tablets, I've struggled to swallow my food, I've struggled to drink water, and then the whole kind of gasping for air, for... And so it's really scary. But it's a really weird symptom. And as I said, I think, as far as I'm aware, I'm the only woman that's put, or the only perimenopause expert that I know of, that's put 2 and 2 together on that one. And it was simple, I'm going to say field research, in that I found that I was struggling, I was panicking, so I asked other people, and they asked other people, and then we kind of, did the research on it and asked the wider questions. So, yes.
I feel like a lot of the perimenopause symptoms are field research.
So many of them are, and it's because I'm surrounded by perimenopausal women all day, every day.
Yeah.
So
not in your home.
No, I'm the only one in the village. To be fair, actually, I'm not, because the woman next door, I've only got one neighbour.
I was going to say,
and she's perimenopausal as well. Yeah. So there's 2 of us, 2 out of 2. But yeah, so that's a really scary one. Other weird ones. Formication.
What?
Formication. People say, every time I say formication, people go, because fornication means there's another word for sex. So every time I say fornication, people go, oh, and I go, no, formication.
What does that mean, Kate?
It means the sensation of ants crawling over your skin, Gabby.
What?
Spiders, ants, like, it's the feeling of it. It's not the actual thing. It's like
that's another gaslighting one.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. But it's a sensation of it happening. It's not the actual thing.
So it doesn't make it better. You're still going around going, stop it, get off.
It's just the feeling of your skin crawling.
That's horrible. That's not a funny one.
Oh, okay, sorry. I don't have a fear of ants or spiders.
In general, though, it's a very
It's just like it's stupid crawlies. It's just like your skin. It's a feeling of your skin crawling, like this. It's like an hallucinogenic.
Yeah.
Yeah, feeling of your skin crawling.
Don't like that one.
So it's okay. Let's move along. Hello, never had look into my eyes. Look into my eyes. I'll be back in the room. Let's pretend I never said that one. Okay. Other weird symptoms. I think itchy ears is weird. And I'll tell you why itchy ears is weird. First of all, it's one that so many women have. But I think the weird thing about itchy ears is that it gaslights you, because it can just be one.
What is this gaslighting?
No. Yeah, no, listen to this one, because it can just be one, but they can switch. And this is why I find it, like, weird. So itchy ears is really common.
Yeah.
Like, I'd go 70-80% of perimenopausal women have itchy ears, right? And you want to give it a good... It's like, you know when you watch dogs or cats and they're going like... That's what you want to do. Like, if it was socially... I promise you, if it was socially acceptable to be in a meeting and get your leg and kind of... I mean, if you could do that, that'd actually be kind of cool. Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway,
I'd be impressed at a meeting seeing that.
You'd earn a lot... And don't go there, but you'd earn a lot of money if you could get your back leg. And anyway,
you'd have okay.
You'd be really bendy.
Life would be fun.
It would open up a whole new meaning of yoga.
Literally.
But if you know, you'd love to just like scratch your ear when it itches, and then temptation is to get a Q-tip or like a cotton wool bud and like really like, oh, that would be so satisfying. But don't do it, because you'll make it worse. What happens in perimenopause is... this is going to sound really a little bit grim. No, but it's one of your least favourite words.
What?
Moist.
No one likes that word. That's a horrible word.
But anything that's moist. So it's going to get worse with the next thing that I say. So anything that's moist, like ears, vagina, eyes... underarm, anything that's moist, damp, kind of membraney, like mouth, anything that has liquid lubrication naturally, in perimenopause will dry out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, okay. Because I was just thinking, and that's bad.
Yeah, it is.
Like the moistness, and now you've said it goes away. I'm like,
Do you know what I mean? You don't want it to dry out because it's lubricated for a reason.
Yeah.
Like your eyes need lubrication, your mouth needs and other things that I don't want to have a conversation with my doctor about. Well, I don't mind.
I feel like we're past this now.
Well, true. There are
after these episodes and what we've talked about, I think we're on a level, you and I now.
Yeah, true. I mean,
I've known you basically my whole life.
Well, no, actually.
I know. Yeah. You're like a mother to me.
It's almost as if, I know. Weird. So, everything that's moist, damp, has lubrication, dries out. Okay? So, anything membraney, and it's because your estrogen levels drop and your estrogen is responsible for producing this lubrication. You have estrogen receptor cells all over your body. So, your ears are they're kept, they have a membrane in them, and it is produced by estrogen. So, you get this kind of flakiness, this dryness, this itchiness from the lack of estrogen. So you want to fiddle with it, and the more you fiddle with it, the worse it's going to get. So really,
can you use a Q-tip for it?
I really, really wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you're going to start fiddling with it, what you're going to do is irritate it.
Yeah.
So you're going to make it worse because you're taking off any natural lubricant that it actually has. And therefore, as you can imagine, it's going to get worse. The best thing actually is to put a little bit of olive oil on a cotton pad, not a cotton bud.
Okay.
And tiny, tiny little amount. Olive oil is a very, very natural ingredient.
That's a good tip.
It's one of the healthiest things for your body. You don't have to go to Waitrose and buy their very, very expensive ones, but the more natural, the better. Tiny little bit of olive oil, like a tiny, tiny bit, and just swab it around your ear just to give it that little bit of natural as much as you can do. Yeah. And then leave it alone.
Okay.
If you possibly can. And I'm not talking about, don't glug it in there.
Yeah.
But a small amount is fine. So as little as you can mess with it, the better. But the reason why I find it entertaining is because it doesn't have to be both ears, it can be one ear. And then the ear that's affected can switch. So you'll feel like you're like
drowning in olive oil in both ears.
Or just losing the plot in general, yeah. So that just is, bants.
I don't know, this is very, very random, but there's a Friends reference that just came to mind that I don't know. You know, when Chandler said to Joey, you're supposed to remove the Q-tip when you feel resistance. That's just all I thought about. I feel like, I don't know, the whole time you said Q-tip and putting in, and I'm like, you're supposed to remove the Q-tip when you feel resistance.
Well, the doctors will always tell you shouldn't put anything in your ear that's smaller than your elbow.
You can't put what?
That's smaller than your elbow. That's what doctors will always say to you, because exactly, you can't put your elbow in your ear because they don't want you to put anything in your ears, because people have actually perforated their eardrums with Q-tips, and you don't want to do that.
But we need it to clean.
But you're not supposed to. You're supposed to.
You're supposed to leave it.
Well, I don't know what they're on about, because I love clean ears.
I was going to say, it's one of my biggest aches, seeing people with dirty ears.
But you're supposed to irrigate it or something, or I don't know how. It's not my field of expertise, but you're supposed to clean your ears with irrigate. I don't know.
Everyone clean your ears, please.
No, you're not. No, you can't say that. Ignore her. You're not supposed to do that.
Just remove it when you feel resistance.
Other weird and wonderful symptoms. Oh, let me have a think. I think the boob thing as well is a bit weird. So you can have one boob that gets really, really sore and the other one becomes normal as well. I just think odd things in general. So you can have one boob that gets bigger than the other and one that feels... So you can end up with uneven boobs.
Okay.
So I just find the unevenness of perimenopause symptoms to be a little bit odd. By the way, while we're talking about this, just a reminder, if you want your copy of the perimenopause symptoms, feel free. It's always in the notes of here, so you can absolutely... feel free to download your copy of it. Is fine. I'm just trying to think of other ones that are weird. It depends what you define as weird as well.
Yeah.
There's one that I don't particularly like, but I want to talk about it because it is a weird one, in that you may have never had anxiety before, and you may suddenly get very strange anxiety in perimenopause, in that it can be specific to certain situations. So, for example, I never had issues driving at night. And when I got to perimenopause, I suddenly started going, I don't want to drive at night.
Okay.
Do you know, like, just, no, I don't, it makes me really uncomfortable.
Okay.
Other women that I know, they, for example, would be in social situations, they would be absolutely fine before perimenopause, and suddenly they feel like their confidence is stripped going into perimenopause, so they wouldn't want to go to certain social situations, big crowds of the people that they didn't know.
I've seen that with like weddings and parties, people are starting to avoid a little bit.
Yeah, so they might just be like, nope.
Right.
Another weird one, we can't have a weird symptoms, I think, without talking about brain fog.
Yeah.
So I do this on a regular basis, and you all try and finish sentences for me. You all do it. Scott included, you all included. I'll be trying to finish a sentence and I've lost the word, and you all try and guess the word for me. It's the most frustrating, I'm not going to lie, the most frustrating thing on the planet. I'm trying to say something and you all start trying to play charades with me, and you're all trying to guess it, and it makes it worse. So I'll be walking through and I'll say, has anybody seen my, and you're like, glasses, keys, fridge, dog, cat, handbag, and I'm like, telephone. And there's words that you know absolutely, and you just can't figure out what it is. So you'll be like, what do you call the big thing of grass outside? There's one grass, lots of grass, lawn, for example, and you know that it's grass, and you know that many grass, but
so you can describe it.
So you can describe it, but you can't figure out what the collective of lots of grass is.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I was trying to explain to somebody what a parking garage is.
Okay.
So the place where you park lots of cars.
Yeah. How did you describe it?
The place where you park lots of cars.
Okay,
But it's like a building, but you park lots of cars inside it.
Okay.
But I couldn't remember what that concept was.
Just a car park.
Yeah, but it wasn't a car park because it wasn't flat. So I'm like, it's not the one that's flat that you drive into.
Okay.
It's the one where there's lots of levels.
Oh, I didn't know there was a difference.
Well, yeah, try and explain it to somebody when you've forgotten the word for garage.
Yeah.
You know, and so that one is really weird as well. You know, when you really just like...
And brain fog is fairly normal as well.
Yeah, but it's... If you looked at the scan of a woman's brain during perimenopause, it saddens me.
Okay.
I'm not... As somebody who's like a neuroscience geek, I didn't say the other word, you're pleased to know. We have this thing because Gabby's bilingual, and there's a word in Arabic that is a very rude word, and it's a word that I use a lot in English, but every time I say it, she gets really upset with me. I won't say it.
It's the F word.
In Arabic. But in English, it's really normal.
No, but you go around saying, I'm a this, and I'm like, no, you're not an F word. You're not. Stop saying that.
So I haven't used it. So if you look at the brain scan of somebody in perimenopause versus how their brain looked before perimenopause, it actually saddens me because there's the activity in the brain is so much less.
Okay.
Much less of our brain is lit up. So you can see how much less of the brain is being active. And it shows you how much we're swimming through treacle in our brains, trying to find words, it's literally like our brain is just going, help, help. And it's so frustrating.
Yeah, like, of course.
There are things that we can do. There are supplements we can use. There are things that we can train our brains. We have to stay active. You know, don't give in is the solution. Don't surrender. Don't back away from trying to use your brain, trying to learn new things. It's just really hard work and massively frustrating. But
I wonder if Alzheimer's then is more common in women.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, because if your brain is already struggling to find words and remember certain things, might be.
Don't know. Well, that's scary.
I'm sorry. I just put that connection to that might be a thing.
Yeah. Another weird thing in perimenopause, actually now it's going to sound like doom and gloom. Oh dear!
That ship sailed.
I want to see if I can find another really funny one before we stop the end of this podcast. Another one that's for women in perimenopause that's really weird is the crying spells. So you can have women that weren't particularly emotional before perimenopause, that in perimenopause will just suddenly burst into tears. And it's just because their emotions just go whoosh. And it's that hormone fluctuation plus lack of sleep plus just the hormonal roller coaster, and then might be the anxiety on top.
And if you've still got periods as well.
Yeah, and all those kind of out of body kind of alien experience.
Yeah.
And just the overwhelm and all of those things mixed together, maybe feeling a little bit dead inside.
I've got a weird question for you then.
Please.
You've had babies.
I've had 3.
Me being one of them.
You being the eldest of the 3, yes.
When you're pregnant, your hormones, I mean, I've never been, but I can imagine. So you've in the perimenopause and you've been pregnant. Which is worse hormonally? Or which do you feel more emotional with and stuff?
Ooh. Again, denying all knowledge, and if either of my ex-husbands ever watch this podcast, I will gaslight them back and say it wasn't true. I was worse in pregnancy. I had horrible, horrible, horrible pregnancies. I had preeclampsia 3 times. So I was quite honestly a bit of a mess. I struggled with pregnancy. I think I was very distressed in pregnancy. Okay. I wasn't in a very good place in my life.
Okay, so yeah.
Which didn't help. I'm a much calmer human now. So I don't think that helped.
Yeah.
If you think about where I was in my life at that point, which you know about. So I wasn't in a very good place in my life. I was dealing with all my mum and her, her alcohol problems and all those things, plus where I was in my life. And then add to that the pregnancy hormones and the stress of the preeclampsia and being 30 years younger.
It's not really the best field research then with you.
No, I don't think I'm the best. I mean, feel free if you...
I'm curious.
Feel free to let us know what you think. But I don't think I was in a particularly good place personally. So I'm probably not the ideal candidate. But so...
Let us know. Let me know. I'm curious.
Yeah, Gabs is curious. Let her know which one. But yeah, I think the crying spells is a weird one because it captures... I'm a very emotional human. Like, I'm the one that cries at Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, you've passed that on to me now. Yeah,
so I cry at toilet paper adverts when the dog's so cute. He comes along and he gives you a toy. It's like, oh my God, it's so sweet. Like, I cry at the Christmas advert.
That tissue advert, you used to bawl all the time.
Listen, like I'm like tearing up thinking about it, right? Like I am the type of person that will cry if it's a sad advert, the Christmas adverts, like chocolate box adverts. Like I am the target market because I am emotional.
It's lovely though. You feel everything.
But I'm an empath. That's what I do. I'm a life coach. I'm there with you on the journey. Like,
you're in the right career.
I am in completely the right career. So I am there with you on your journey. I'm cheering for you. I'm feeling the feels. So perimenopause is just an extension of that for me. So I'm not the target audience. But for women that are not perhaps being that much in touch with their emotions, or just not an emotion, everyone's different, right? Not that emotional. Perimenopause can literally hit them like a tidal wave because suddenly they become these emotional creatures and it feels very alien to them. So I think sudden crying spells can be a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, that was a good one actually to end with.
Yeah. So my darlings, I hope that helps. Thank you very much for your question, and as always, if you'd like to ask us any questions, feel free to check out the WhatsApp number, WhatsApp a question, or you can go to our perimenopause group on Facebook, which is Perimenopause with Kate Grosvenor. Every week there is a thread where you can ask your questions, and every week Gabriella will choose a question and then hide it from me and not tell me, no matter how much I bribe her with chocolate or salt and vinegar crisps. She will never, ever, ever tell me the question until we're live on air, because that's her finally getting revenge.
Some people just can't be bought.
Yeah, I will find the answer though at some point. But until that time, you can surprise me with your questions. All right, my darlings, have a beautiful week, and we will talk to you next week. Take care for now. Bye.